So this is actually going to be a hangout, whoever's going to make it. I think this is number 19 of our Intro to the Wonderful and Crazy World of Anime Hangouts. And I'm lagging. It's even worse. I am all by myself right now. I think Leandro said he was going to join me, but I don't know. John is sick. So, John, I hope you feel better. And I'm really laggy, which is really annoying. Anyway, we were talking about The Devil is a Part-Timer, and we went up to, I think, episode 9. So now I actually am going to go back a little bit, and I think we're going to stop talking about Devil's a Part-Timer for today and focus on talking about Spring Simulcast. The shows that we discussed that we're watching are Recon, what is this called now? How to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. I can't understand what my husband is saying. Also, we've got Plastic Memories, and Triage X. So I'll kind of go over a little bit about what's going on in each, and hopefully somebody joins me. And if not, then this is going to be a really weird, by myself, lonely hangout with really bad lag, which makes it even worse. So anyway, Plastic Memories. I just watched the last episode of Plastic Memories, and I would say that I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. My big concern is that it turns into a romantic love story type thing, and then we lose the whole interest of the Giftias, and basically, understanding what happens to them when they expire. So I'm hoping that we don't lose that, and I hope it continues to stay along the path of being really interesting, because I mean, the slapstick in the last episode was great, but I just don't want it to lose its soul, if you will, going more towards a romantic notion rather than trying to stick to a really serious, interesting storyline. So, but if you didn't see it, sorry, spoiler, but the last episode, the ending does a really good job of continuing the explanation of trying to understand what the Giftias are and how they work. So, because Isla is trying to keep Tsukasa away from her and try to maintain more of a professional relationship with him, because she also understands that, I think she understands, she has like a self-awareness that she's expiring. So the previous episode to this one, we know that she's expiring soon. So that becomes something that we start to see, and we start to realize like that Isla's gonna be aware of, or maybe Isla is aware of it already. I can't remember if that was the case, but regardless, there is the Tsukasa, I think his name. So, and how he kind of interacts with Isla, and he's trying to gain more of a relationship with her. And I like that episode. I like that it was slapstick. I like that definitely similar to Steins Gate in some ways, with Maushi and Okurin, and how they have their relationships. So I could see that kind of relationship developing a little bit. So we'll see what happens from here going forward with Plastic Memories. I like the premise. I really want them to focus more on what is the Giftias, how did they develop, how did they, where did it come about? Like, what was the evolution that created them? And I understand that it's only what, episode 3, so it's a little crazy to be expecting that kind of development right off the bat. But I would like to see more. I definitely want to see more of the Giftias, more of Giftia that don't necessarily want to follow the requirements of expiration, and see how that goes. So so that's Plastic Memories. Then the other one that I started watching, actually, I told John about it in a Hangout, and it's really great. If anybody really likes food, which I love food, if you've ever been on my Google Plus, you can see that I post everything about food. I'm all about food. So Food Wars is the name of this anime that came out for Spring Simulcast, and it's also 3 episodes in, just like everyone else. Fantastic show. I love the combination between crazy food challenges and equating food to having orgasms. I mean, like, that's exactly what a foodgasm is. There's no other explanation for it. When you eat something that's so good that it just blows your mind and blows like every part of your body up, it's awesome. So I love that Food Wars takes the almost literal translation of foodgasm and puts it into an anime. And you see these girls and they're eating like an egg omelet, or there was the one previous episode where the woman was trying to shut them down and shut down their restaurant, and she eats a potato fried with bacon, bacon on the outside and potato on the inside, and so the way it cooks, the fat of the potato mixes all together, and it's so delicious, and she's just like loses all her clothes and everything just explodes. And even and the funny part is, like, they're Yakuza, so, or at least it seemed that way, and they all, even the guys, all just lose all their clothes, and it just looks like it became a massive orgy or something. So I really love that, and it's hilarious. And then in Food Wars now, he's going to this culinary school where he has to impress all of the instructors there. And first off, this is what episode 2 that I'm referring to. So he goes into the school, and the professor he has to impress is this 15-year-old girl who is the culinary God's gift to the world, the culinary world rather, and she has an incredible palate and for taste and all of the major restaurant corporations are using her, et cetera, et cetera. And so, and she also happens to be the daughter of the chairman of the school, and he has to impress her. And I love how he decides to impress her with something so simple, but at the same time so very difficult, which was this egg dish. And it just goes to show, even in reality, I mean, eggs are one of those really difficult dishes, and so you can either really make it delicious or you can really screw it up. And I love that they use an egg dish to symbolize that and to explain that. And then, of course, when she eats the egg dish, at first she's not impressed, but then he tells her, wait for it, and there's these pieces of like gelatin, and they melt with the egg, and it becomes this whole other thing, and that's why they call it transformation rice. That was the name of the recipe. So, and of course she is like running around, and there's these like bees, and I don't know. Anyway, point of the matter is, great show, awesome show. I don't know how much further they can go along with the making everybody lose their clothes and everything every time they eat something, but it should be interesting to see like what more analogies they can add. So Food Wars, definitely check it out, and it's what I think in episode 3, so great anime. The other one that I was referring to before was How to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon. And so that anime I really like. I I think, John, we had talked about it the other day, that we want to see how the families develop and what was the point of the families, or the families, how that actually works in the anime. And so that I thought was really interesting, because this episode, which is the last episode, episode 3, really goes forward to try to explain a little bit more about the world that this anime comes from, or exists in, rather. So, and it's definitely got that, as we said before, the MMORPG, like, very big feel. But the anime itself, I like that it's got these different families. And so this previous episode, episode 3, for how to pick up girls in a dungeon, we get a little more backstory as to how Belle and his kami-sama, his goddess, ended up getting together. And it's really, really nice to see that Belle didn't have anybody. He had nobody who loved him or wanted him to be part of their family. And everyone thought he was too weak and too boring, or too stupid or anything to include him in their family. So after that, I like that he was just going begging around for everybody to try to get someone to take him in, and nobody wanted to take him in. So it also shows the relationship between Belle and his goddess, and how strong their relationship is, and also goes to show how strong the character of Belle is, and all the things he went through. So I think that's also another one to keep watching to see what happens there. And I like that now we've got this weapon that apparently is growing with Belle at the same time as Belle is growing himself as a fighter, and continuing to challenge himself. So that's really interesting. I like to see where that goes. Triage X, John, I know you're gonna give it up, I think you said. So I want to see where this continues to go. I think it's definitely gotten ridiculous with the amount of boobs that you have, but at the same time, I mean, it's anime. What do you expect? So Triage X, I'm gonna keep it on my schedule just to continue seeing what happens there. I, again, still like the idea that there's this guy who's trying to figure out piecemeal who he is, and go kind of backwards and figuring out if he still is in there somewhere. Then I also started watching I said Food Wars, so, and Plastic Memories, and I've watched some of Recon. Recon's really good. Thanks, John, for the recommendation. It's definitely up there. I have to continue on the last episode. So, but Recon is there on my list, and I started watching this is a love story. I think that one is what it's called. And I like the idea of it. I really wish we had more like adult anime, but what can we do? So, but the premise of that is really interesting. I like it a lot. So that's kind of where I'm at for Spring Simulcast. I haven't watched much more from there. Oh, and of course, I've continued on with the Fate Stay Night, because Fate Stay Night's awesome. And also, I can't understand what my husband's saying. So that's kind of where that's gone. Then I actually started watching, and I finished K Project. So this is what I wanted to say about K Project. I loved the art in K Project. The art was stunning. The music is fantastic. The story itself was good, but definitely lacking. There's quite a few characters that, I mean, it alludes to 7 kings, but we don't get to see all 7 kings, so we're missing kings. We don't really understand the backstory between Blue Kings and the Red Kings, and why are they fighting so intensely. And I don't understand that. I really wish that I know it's probably one of those read the manga things. So once you read the manga, then it would make more sense. But I haven't read the manga, and I really hate when an anime makes me go, oh no, you have to read the manga to understand what's going on. That's why I didn't like Gantz. Gantz is one of those that I get really frustrated with. And that's just because the whole ending on that was terrible. It was clearly something that they just threw together just to end it and get it out of the way. But long story short, that's beside the tangent of what I'm going for. So K Project is the idea that there are 7 kings and they are all simultaneously on Earth. It's a total alternate timeline of our reality, essentially. And there's these 7 kings. They all have a position. And for whatever reason, like I said, there's no explanation why blue people are fighting the red people. We only know that they all used to be friends at some point, and when this, I don't know, magic came about that one of them became king and then they all became king type of thing, it changed their whole relationships. So I don't really understand the process of how that happened, and I don't really think that the anime does a really good job of explaining it either. I like that it alludes to certain things, but the fact that it doesn't explain anything leaves me frustrated. So that said, though, I do like the idea. I love the art. I love the music. I think for a sequel, maybe there should be more filling in information so that we as the viewer can understand more so what's going on. And so that's my whole thing that I get frustrated about, is that it kind of just stopped. And yes, there was a giant battle and it was fantastic, but it was so convoluted and so thrown together that I couldn't understand really, why are they fighting? Why are they even fighting? Like, they're all kings. There's a red king, there's a blue king, there's the silver king, there's the colorless king, but why do they all get into like a fight with each other? And I mean, couldn't they ruled other lands? Couldn't they go to other kingdoms? Couldn't they, I mean, I don't know. That's my whole question, and that was my issue with K Project. But maybe the sequel will go over more, and it'll actually make it more filling in, if you will, of information. So that's my thing that I was watching was K Project, and I finished that. I do need to watch. There's Missing Kings is the movie, so I need to watch that to kind of, because I've heard that helps a little bit, and I would like them to have an actual sequel, because the sequel would really help instead of just doing like a film, because film tends to just throw everything together and then you don't really get a full understanding of what's going on. It kind of rushes through, especially the development portions. So something that I want to see what happens there. The other anime that I've been watching is Black Cat. I love Black Cat. I've really gotten into it. And I know that, John, you said that you were watching Psycho Pass. Psycho Pass is one of my favorites. I have heard, I haven't watched the extended version of what they're doing for season 1, but if they bring back a major character because of plot device, that will really be frustrating, because the beauty of Psycho Pass is the deep psychological buildup and how to understand. I mean, you're in a society where everything is dictated to you. You have an expectation, and you also have to be really conscious and really aware of that expectation. So I love the idea that they had a rebellious character, and how he broke free. And then there was a character, I'm trying not to give too many spoils for you, John, But then there is another character who is just decides that he's done with it. He's done with trying to be what society wants him to be. And I love that they go and they have this confrontation. So just leaving it at that. John, I'm really curious to see how you end up liking the ending, because I don't think you're there yet. You told me that you were still had some ways. So I like to see how you end up viewing it, and if you think that you're frustrated with it too, and at least in terms of what people have said about bringing back certain characters, it's kind of to me like Al Noah Zero and bringing back the princess like over and over and over again. So, and that's a really common plot device that not just anime uses. So, okay, well, this is a really short hangout today. I actually decided to do the hangout because I will be going out of town at some point, and so I figured, and then like it's gonna be really difficult just figuring out like scheduling. It's been an issue for us for a little while now. I mean, what we're going into since October, no, before October was when we were doing hangouts. So I'd like us to try to be more regular, but it's really difficult when you are working and when everybody else is working. I mean, if I was just like a 15-year-old kid who had nothing else to do and had tons and tons of free time, then that would be awesome. And if all I had to do was like watch anime every single day and like talk about it, that would be really great. But unfortunately, I'm not a 15-year-old kid who can just do whatever and watch as much anime as I want. So, I mean, I still watch as much anime as I want, but I don't have time to do hangouts. And no, actually, I don't. I lie. I don't watch as much anime as I want, because if I did, anyway, I would have nothing else that I could do. So, basically, that's kind of it. I don't really have much else to say. This is a hangout that ended up becoming a one-person hangout, which I was I really wanted to avoid, honestly, because it's really nerve-wracking to stand in front of a camera or sit in front of a camera and like talk to a screen and have a bunch of people that might listen to you or not, who knows. So another thing, shout out to Tony, Tony Kabuto. He's in our intro to the wonderful and crazy world of anime group. It was his birthday just a few weeks ago, and yes, Tony, a present is coming to you. So just keep your eyes peeled. I know that you were like, well, I don't think that you're gonna be able to send it because it's in another country. That totally doesn't matter. Like you're in our community, and so it's awesome that you're there, and I really appreciate like all of you guys that are in the community and hang out, and whether you make it or not, it really doesn't matter. It's not about the fact that you actually are physically in the hangout. It's just the fact that like you are interested enough to be in the community and watch anime. That's my whole point of this, was to get more people to watch anime. So if that gets people watching anime, then I'm happy. Thumbs up. All right, guys. Well, have a great rest of the week, and I will see you next week. I think we decided probably Tuesday we're gonna try and do another hangout, and it'll probably be a lot longer than this. So thank you guys for watching, and see you then. Bye.